This is the moment where police officers finally uncovered the dangerous mass killer's secret hideout and finally put an end to a bizarre story. Stick around till the end as we reveal some of the most shocking serial killers ever caught on body cam. On April 8, 2020, police arrived at Benjamin King's residence and found him dead. Little did they know this case would mark the beginning of a psycho mass spree, and they needed to catch him before he claimed more victims.
Go ahead, come in here.
Okay.
Make sure to watch until the end to see how the officers tracked down the dangerous murderer's hideout and solved a chilling serial killer case.
Was your son be capable of something?
Oh God, I pray not. No. I pray not.
It all began when Akron police received a call from Sarah Evan, reporting that her close friend, Benny King, had been found dead in his home. When officers arrived, they quickly determined it was a cold-blooded murder.
Is he breathing?
No, not a... Oh my God. Go ahead, come in here.
Okay. You wanna go hang out over there for us so you can have room to work here?
Benny laid in his hallway, and he had several knife wounds all over his body. Poor guy also had cuts on his hands, indicating that he had resisted the murder. His bed was soaked in blood, suggesting he had tried to get help but collapsed halfway through.
Any ID or nothing? Can't find anything?
I didn't dig around too much there. I'm really not going to. Well, because the lady you called said that all of his cabinets in the kitchen are open, and she checks on him on a regular basis and she's like, I don't know why that would be like that. Like someone who's listening here looking for something. Like all the cabinets here are open. I mean, who does this?
The entire house had been ransacked, as if the killer was searching for something and possibly took it. The detail would later become a crucial point in the investigation.
Was it the back door that you found open?
No, the front. When I come back to 11:30, this door was locked. It was unlocked.
Okay.
The back door is unlocked too.
11:59.
Does he usually keep his doors locked?
Yeah.
23 Mo Drive. Break.
So I said he locks it. He goes to take a nap, but as soon as he gets up in the morning, he unlocks it.
Was the dog out when you got here?
No, the dog was in the chair.
Okay.
In the chair when I come in the door. And that's why I knew when I seen the stand open, the dog in the chair.
Sarah informed the cops about two people she suspected might be involved in the murder, brothers Justin and Johnny, who she claimed had unresolved money issues with Benny. While the cops planned to investigate them later, they were soon alerted to another potential suspect.
That was up through here earlier today, this morning, I guess. And sped away and come back. I know it was earlier this morning. And come back and sped away again. He said it was a younger white guy driving.
Who said that?
A guy, I can't tell you because he's in trouble. He's got warrants. You know?
Okay. Well, what's his warrants for? Is it anything
I
bad?
have no idea. So I'm just giving you the information I was given.
I'll tell you what. There's a detective coming. Okay. I understand that you guys' friend has some warrants. If it's possible that we can guarantee we're not arresting him, not doing anything, you guys can go ask him if you want to talk to us then.
Despite having warrants against him, the man decided to come forward and assist the cops, as Benny had been a great and kind neighbor.
How's it going, brother?
I was out here on my friend's porch and I saw this goldish, older style Hummer, big body Hummer, speed away from over here. I didn't hear no noises like gunshots or anything.
Okay.
But
How about what time was that?
10:30, 11ish.
I was up here.
Maybe
11,
12.
I come up here.
Okay.
No, it had to be like.
I was up here at 11:30.
Okay, it had to
Door
be
was
about
locked.
10:30 or something.
Okay, so between 10:30 and
Because
11.
then I heard
you're
her screaming about something, then all this happened.
Okay.
Then she discovered that. I've not seen that vehicle.
You've never
around
seen
here.
that car around here? Nothing. Did you happen to see who was driving?
A white male,
Okay.
blondish, short hair, like
Short.
kind of crew cut like yours.
Okay.
I would say anywhere from his mid-20s to early 30s. He sped around the corner so fast his tires were squealing. I was like, what the hell?
Another neighbor who had overheard the conversation stepped forward and informed the officers about someone in the neighborhood who drove a Hummer. However, he only knew the person by their nickname, Jaybird.
We're just assuming Jaybird being connected to a Hummer.
Correct.
You don't know.
Right. I don't have any personal knowledge about that, but I know that I've seen him many times with
With a Hummer?
Hummer.
What color?
Roughly that color. It's like dusty gold like that.
So you've seen Jay Bird driving this goldish
Before, yeah.
By this point, the officers had 3 suspects, the 2 brothers and the man driving the Hummer. However, Benny's daughter Patricia soon arrived at the scene with a different perspective on the tragic situation.
Did you talk to bitch down there? Let me say this friendly. That lady down there has been paying his bills, and she's been taking all his money and not paying on his bills. So the gas bill I have not yet paid.
We don't have a bill.
So I don't have a bill to say because she's not giving him the bills. She's keeping them. She is writing on the receipts what she is supposed to have paid versus what she really paid. And this has been going on for over 3 months. So she's been ripping off for 3 months. He's never had a bill that he never paid in full until this lady down the street decided that she was going to help him. She took upon herself to help him.
There we go.
And that's her way to get her drug fix, is by taking his money.
Patricia immediately accused Sarah of being involved in the murder. It was later revealed that Sarah had been receiving money from Benny, but was only paying half of his bill. Shortly after, Patricia entered the house and made another shocking discovery.
I can come?
Yeah. Usually, the body's not in there no more.
I'll be right back out with you.
Put it in a car container like this. It's okay.
Was it in there?
No, it was in a container like this.
Red Folgers?
Yep.
Where does it keep it?
It was in here. So whoever did this knows exactly where he hid his money. And she's one, and Johnny, those are the 2 that come down here. Those 2 are the suspects. I'm telling you, there's nobody else. Them 2.
Benny's money was nowhere to be seen, and it appeared someone had just for a few $100s. Shortly after, the cops made another shocking discovery. Justin's nickname was Jaybird. That's when they called him in for an interrogation.
Hey, Justin. You are arrested for those warrants we talked about. You got 4 warrants on you. How do you know him? What is your relationship with him? Can you kind of take us through that?
My brother, he was more or less like a stepfather, pretty much.
How so?
Shook a stick and give me $1 or a cigarette or something to eat, or you know what I mean. I lived next door to him there for 4 or 5 months. Even I had a warrant, which I went and did my time and got it all taken care of. You know what I mean. If you're asking, did I kill him? No, I did not.
Justin wasted no time in speaking up, even before the cops could question him. As the interrogation continued, his calm and cooperative demeanor strongly suggested he had no involvement in the heinous crime.
So we talked to everybody in the neighborhood except for the one person that they said he banned from the house.
Was me.
Well,
Yeah.
is that over money or what was that about?
Yeah, it was over money, but no, I was with my brother at his house. I told you he was drinking beer with. I had to take a shit, okay. He told me, trying to tell me. Sorry.
You say anything about a shotgun?
Yeah, he did. He told my brother, he's like, I should take my shotgun down there, pump a couple of the twigs in his ass. He said, my brother did. Yes. He never had a problem giving me money or anything like that. He pulled it right out of his pocket. He was a good guy.
Justin's responses to the officers' questions were genuine, and he showed no signs of guilt. He answered everything honestly and even laughed throughout the conversation. When the cops asked if he owned a Hummer, his reply was unexpectedly humorous, adding a lighthearted moment to a very tense situation.
You drove or used to drive a Hummer?
Hummer.
You ever drive a Hummer in the neighborhood?
No.
Did you ever work on a Hummer?
Never had, no. I always had a fucking Hummer.
You know anybody that,
She knew. She took Bane's bank card to the bank, food stamps. That's what my brother was telling me on the phone the other day. And he thinks that she might have had something to do with it. So if I point a finger, I'd probably check her for sure.
At this point, the officers had another witness implicating Sarah. They decided it was the right time to interview her and called her to the police station for questioning.
We know that you called 911. We got the recording, so we listened to that. We understand that you would pay his bills. Tell us about that.
Well, that's where we had a dispute. I went to pay his bill. One night I had to pay $40 on it. I needed to borrow that. He said, okay, did not remember. I paid him back his $40. That's why I was still wrong.
That was, you weren't there.
That we made up, yeah.
We're hearing two different sides of what we're talking about. We're hearing what you're telling us, but we're hearing from his daughter and what his best friend's telling us. Now, we've been hearing that he banned you from coming to his house. He didn't want you handling his bills or anything like that. So much that the owner of the store called him and said, hey, she's scamming you. So you're telling us that is not true.
That's not true. That is not true. I went up there. I didn't go up there until I had the $40 and I had to pay him.
Like Justin, Sarah openly admitted to having a minor issue with Benny, but claimed it was over just $40. However, soon she revealed a crucial detail that would ultimately point the officers to the true suspect behind the crime.
There's a lady there that was smoking. She had like salt, pepper hair, long hair. That's not your. Let me ask you this: it's not your daughter. That she's not.
My daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's your daughter. She doesn't live there with you. Do you have any other children?
Yeah.
Do any of them live with you?
Wherever. He's got out of prison and stuff, so.
When did he get out of prison?
In September.
What was he in jail for?
Robbery.
Would your son be capable of something?
Oh God, I pray not. No. I would pray not.
For the first time, officers noticed tension in Sarah's response as she became defensive and raised her voice. Her son, Jason, quickly emerged as the prime suspect, and the officers received a critical tip from his cellmate.
So I'm told you told one of the deputies you got some information about a homicide?
That's about the old guy that got stabbed. Yeah, his mother found the body, and then I heard him and his mom arguing over the phone about it wasn't supposed to go that far. Because she always going over the house cleaning up when she been doing that for years. And everybody in the neighborhood know they did it, just nobody ain't speaking on it. I don't know why.
This groundbreaking evidence gave the cops a clear target, Jason. However, before they could apprehend him, the officers were alerted to another homicide. The striking similarities between this case and Benny's murder quickly became apparent.
Gary! Akron Police! Gary, it's Akron Police! Gary!
Gary Ballast found home after his son called the police for a welfare check, having not heard from him in days. As the cops questioned neighbors, a disturbing pattern began to emerge.
Akron Police! Just wonder if I could talk to you a couple seconds about your neighbor behind you. When's the last time you saw him?
Police go?
Was anybody there with him?
He came over here.
Oh yeah?
Knocked on the door.
What did he say?
He came over to pick flowers out of the yard.
Purple ones?
Lilacs.
The car was there when she took the flowers over. Do you remember?
The car hasn't been there for over a week.
A week? You want to step out here for 1 second? So Gary is deceased. It's looking suspicious. That's why I'm asking you these questions.
The neighbor stated that she hadn't seen Gary's car for over a week. Even though he was supposedly still at home, the car was still missing from his garage. When the cops questioned another neighbor, they received similar counts, reinforcing the suspicion that the vehicle's disappearance was connected to the crime.
I don't have a mask.
What did you call them yesterday for?
Because I haven't seen him since Saturday, and it's not like him to leave town and not tell me.
You haven't seen him since Saturday?
Nobody answer that door. You said you guys are positive, though.
It was Saturday he was cutting his grass?
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy with the cane before?
No.
Nope, never seen him before. No. His car hasn't been there since Sunday.
Okay.
Gary's blue Subaru was missing, and finding it became a top priority for the officers. That is when an unnamed individual came forward with a shocking revelation that changed the course of the investigation.
Jason came over Sunday morning. He was going to help me work on the house I'm working on.
Do you know Jason's last name?
Shogley, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, something like that. Anyway, he came over but I had to go to Harbor Freight because I needed a grinder. And so I told him, I said, I got to go to Harbor Freight. He said, oh, I'll take you. And I said, wait a minute, Jason. I said, I'm not getting in no hot car. I said, is that car hot? He said, no, the car's not hot. Uncle Willie, no, I wouldn't do you like that. The car's not hot.
The individual revealed that Gary's Subaru was with Jason Shockley. By now, the officers had connected the dots between the two murders and knew they had to apprehend Shockley before he struck again. However, locating him proved challenging until Sarah unexpectedly came forward and disclosed her son's hiding place.
This one? Which house is it? It's the second one. The one on the right, 1887. Is there a way to get to the back? Watch that, please.
Officer, give out the ship signal that traffic.
Jason was holed up in an abandoned house, which was cluttered and in disarray. The officers carefully made their way upstairs, preparing to apprehend him. However, things could quickly escalate, as they feared Jason might be armed and ready to fire.
Hands, motherfuckers! Hands! Hands, motherfuckers! Hands! Don't move. Roll over and put them on the top of your head. Roll on your stomach, hands are behind your back. Let's go! Hurry up, Jason.
That's good. Is that everything illegal on you, man? Besides the knot? Yeah. Alright, stand up. What's up, picture? You can what, a paddle? Shake him? Yeah.
Does anybody have anybody else on the car?
I don't think so. I don't think they even know.
Yeah, we need to get
The officers finally had Jason in handcuffs. Although the evidence pointed toward him, they still lacked concrete proof linking him to both murders. They immediately began interrogating him, hoping to extract a confession or further details to solidify their case.
So how long have you had the car for?
I've had this car for a few days.
How long do you think you've known him for?
I've known Gary for almost 9 years.
Oh, wow. So you've had a long relationship.
I've stayed a night or two at his house before.
So you've been in the house before and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
After asking the straightforward questions, the detectives moved on to tougher ones. Their primary focus was Gary's missing car and the credit cards that had been found on Jason. They pressed him for answers, hoping to catch him in a lie or force a confession.
Jason, tell me what happened, man.
What do you mean, tell you what happened?
I have people that are in the area that seen you and him together. He's been deceased since about the same time you've seen him. You've got his card and his credit cards.
Okay.
Tell me what happened.
I told you. He lends me his car for work.
Why is his neighbors and his son and everybody else saying that he will not lend his car to you? Everybody's told me that.
And that's what they're afraid about. Look, all I did was knock on the outer door.
Wouldn't you agree to us that, or agree with us that it's kind of weird that you're the last person that
Yes.
seen with him?
Yes,
You know, he's
I find that weird. I see where you guys stand with it. But at the same time, I'm not no dude. That's not that I do, man.
Well, sometimes people don't plan it. Sometimes people get in an argument and think they're a little too far.
No. Anybody that knows me will tell you that's not what I do. So what? I smoke some crack. I've been smoking since I was 10 years old. But you know what I do? Some stupid shit like that.
Jason denied murdering Gary and became increasingly agitated, which only raised suspicions about his honesty. The detectives, however, skillfully played along, adopting a sympathetic approach to get him to lower his guard. Eventually, their strategy paid off, and they managed to extract a confession from him.
Even if you did wrong and the judge, and you admit to what happened and everything else, the judge takes that into consideration because it shows remorse. You want me to turn it off? Stop.
You erased the first one.
I'm not erasing anything.
You erased the first one.
I'm not erasing anything. That's evidence. I can't do
No, you erased, I'm saying, if you erased the first one, I'm gonna tell you what was in that. He's over there drinking water and stuff, just talking bullshit. I guess my mom had borrowed $20 from him. You know, he was telling me about it and stuff, and then you have to be, you know, get over it with something. I'm very protective.
Okay.
I love my mom. He got me talking real crazy about my mom. I asked him, like, hey, please stop. So, I'm like, you know what, I gotta go. I get up and leave, and he threw this cup at me, and it had wine, and then he threw it at me, picked up his knife, and pushed him down. He dropped the knife, and I took the knife. Where'd you push that knife? Back into his chair. He said, I'll shoot you. And when he went to reach,
Gary's was solved, and it was later revealed that Jason's self-defense story was a complete lie. He had killed Gary for money and his car. With the brutal now exposed, the detectives turned their attention to Benny's case, hoping to get a confession or details that would link him to the earlier crime.
You told us about Gary. It's like Detective Kennedy said, the two cases are like a mirror.
No, you're lying about the cases being similar.
And see, here's another thing. You just told us that you went through Gary's pants. You went through Benny's pants too. Because Benny was known to carry several $100s in his pants pocket.
Most moms are like, there's no way my kid would do that.
No, she knows for a fact that I didn't do that.
I'm not saying about Benny. I'm just saying your mom's sitting here thinking, if my son possible, what we talked to her about.
Just it.
Yeah, we talked about.
She's freaking out.
Now, if you thought that was intense, wait until you see this one, where a 60-year-old killer ends up receiving the maximum sentence in court.
I'll put my arrest for. Huh? What am I on arrest for? I'll explain it here in a minute, all right?
This is 61-year-old Sam Brammer, whose seemingly ordinary breakup turned into one of the most shocking and disturbing cases imaginable. Eileen Gowan, who vanished without a trace, made her ex-boyfriend Sam a prime suspect for the cops, as he was the last one to be seen with her. However, due to lack of evidence, they had to let him go. But his erratic behavior, which included fleeing from cops to desperate attempts of destroying evidence, set off a series of red flags. Then came one fateful 911 call.
So we were driving down the road to go shooting or whatever, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
The story begins on February 13th, 2023, when Eileen had to head over to her friend Mike Brockman after she had broken up with her longtime boyfriend Sam. However, Eileen was never seen after leaving her workplace. The next day, her daughter reported her missing. Police launched an investigation and called up Mike for an interview, as he was the last known person to have seen her.
So basically, as you know, I talked to you on Monday, or Wednesday, I guess, was the first day I talked to you. I had received information from some of the family that you and Eileen were possibly in a relationship, or kind of sort of, she may have lived with you for a few days or a week or so, but if you could just kind of go before Monday, just kind of tell us how you guys know each other, how she ended up out there at your place, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of move from there.
She was a waitress at Sugar's, and I knew her from in there, and I talked to her before and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me, I don't know, it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday night, that she got kicked out and she needed a place to stay. That's the way you would stay at my place for a couple days.
Officers suspected a love triangle and a possible crime fueled by jealousy. Eileen had moved in with Mike just a week after ending things with Sam, making both men key figures in the investigation.
I think it was Friday. She called me and she said, I won't be coming back. She says, we're getting back together, her and her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And all I know is his first name's Sam. I don't know anything else about him.
Okay.
And so I didn't see her. And then she called me crying on that that Saturday night, and she says, oh, we got into it. Can I come out for a day? I said, you can come back out, but you got to be gone Monday because I can't have this. I'm single. I don't want anything like this going on.
Mike, on the other hand, told the officers that he never had any relationship with Eileen and was only offering her a place to stay out of courtesy. Officers also let him share his whole story before they drew any conclusion.
So I took her to work Monday morning. That'd been a week ago yesterday. Dropped her off at 5 a.m. And she was supposed to get off at, I don't know, she said 7 or 8. Her daughter was going to pick her up. She's going to go to her mom's and get her safe and take to her daughter's. And then she was supposed to come back to work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, then I get a phone call from the bar saying, hey, have you seen her? And I said, I haven't seen her, I haven't talked to her, nothing.
Eileen's last text message was to her boss claiming that she was heading over to see Mike. However, he now claimed that she never came and he kept waiting for her.
Didn't get a hold of her. So I sent her a text message and I says, all your stuff that's bagged up is going to be sitting behind the bar. You got to get it. I want it out of here. I don't want to mess with any more of this. And I never, since 5 o'clock that Monday morning, I'd never had any contact with her, phone, text, or anything. And then I didn't know anything till right before you called me that she'd come up missing.
Well, the officers had also found out from some close family of Eileen that Mike had tried to assault her. Despite his claims of having no relationship and sleeping in separate rooms, it wasn't long before the police confronted him about it.
Has anybody said anything to you that Eileen was saying anything about you? Have you heard anything about her making any statements about you and your behavior while she lived or was staying with you out there?
No.
So you haven't heard that she may have made a statement that you possibly assaulted her while she was out there?
No.
Okay. That statement was made to a couple people that you supposedly laid down on her bed with her and spooned her from behind. Is that?
No.
Can you tell me, is that any of that accurate? Any of those statements?
I would not do that because, like I said, she was a loose cannon.
As one can expect, Mike denied any claims of assaulting Eileen, and that concluded the interrogation.
And I guess here's the deal. You're a grown man, she's a grown woman. You know, if there was any type of whatever contact between you that was consensual, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I mean, she was crying that first night she come out and I hugged her.
Okay.
But there was no relationship, no asking for it or anything.
The lack of evidence meant that the officers had to let go of Mike, but now they called in the main suspect, Sam, who had been Eileen's boyfriend for a long time, and...
Detective Dyer.
Yeah, you get first names.
Yeah, this is Detective Dyer. I'm the sergeant that you talked to on the phone. My name's Ted Roberts. I'm a sergeant.
When I got on the phone with you, and you said that I was the last person to see her alive.
Well, I didn't say that.
Yep.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you sure did.
I said you were the last person that saw her before she went missing.
Sam made a huge blunder straight away, as he claimed that Eileen had died, whereas the officers had never mentioned that to him and were still treating her as a missing person.
As you said that, I got the phone. I said, no, I want them to arrest me so I can have a lawyer.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think you misheard me there. I got it recorded. I'll have to go back and listen to it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what I said. But I mean, basically, we got a crazy deal here where, Eileen is evidently, her family and everything else, she's never done this kind of thing before. She's never just, took off and gone. They all know.
What she does is she comes to me, and she's moved in with me 4 or 5 times. But usually when she moves in with me, she stays away from home.
Yeah, because they said they talk every day. The daughter and her talk
If
every
they need
day
something,
by
they need
on the
something.
phone or whatever she says. Yeah.
If they need something, then they'll get hold of her.
Okay.
Just like when she got arrested for the DWI, she went to jail, they finally bailed her up. What did they do? They took her and dropped her off at the bar.
Officers pressed Sam for details about the day Eileen disappeared. She had last texted him asking for a ride to Mike's home, making him the last known person to have had contact with her.
What happened Monday morning with you?
She texted me.
Okay.
And wanted to know if I would come and get her, because one of her friends supposedly was supposed to come and get her, and supposedly ran out of gas. So
did she tell you the friend's name or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I got there, and I said, "I'll be there in a minute." She goes, "Don't come inside. I don't want Megan to know that we're back or you're with me." I said, "Okay." And I pulled up. She gets in the truck. We take off, run out to this. Supposedly the one that tried to do something with her, and dropped her off there. Then I left, and then wasn't too long after that is when she called me, lay down, take a nap. That's when she texted me, wanted to know if I could talk to Emmy about letting her move back in, because this guy, now that's true.
When?
That night.
The night before Monday?
The night before Monday, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was true or not. I don't know if she was just saying that to get me to take her back or what. I don't know.
Sam also talked about the sexual assault and went on to show the officers a message from Eileen where she clearly mentions that Mike had raped her. But still, the interrogation was far from over.
She says, "Please talk to Emmy, see if I can come back home. He me last night. Sam, I love you. I promise I'll quit drinking. Please give me another chance." Then she says, "I'm hanging out with her," and this was at 1:22.
What's it say?
And it says here, "I'm hanging out with a friend. I will get a hold of you later. I'm not going to work. I'm not going back to work."
Back at 2, right?
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember.
Okay. You said you dropped her off in front of Mike's house.
Yeah.
And you watched her walk into the...
All she did was she got out and then she walked in front of the truck, and she walked in front of the truck. I went up, turned around, and that's when I left.
Okay, so you didn't see her get into the house, anything like that? So if she had walked away from there, I mean, that's quite a ways away from your apartment complex. I wonder how she would have gotten to you.
Unfortunately, some friend was supposed to come and pick her up.
Sam claimed that he took Eileen from her workplace to Mike's house where he dropped her off and returned home. Soon the officers let him go and went away to check the CCTV footage from across the city to determine what had actually happened. After a detailed look at different CCTVs of the city, the officers developed a timeline. Sam took Eileen to her mother's house where she had been seen collecting her belongings. Later, they went to an apartment complex where Eileen wanted to purchase an apartment, but the building was closed. After that, Sam disappeared from CCTV and his car was never seen near Mike's house. Instead, he was spotted at a Burger King and consistently drove in the opposite direction from his residence. Later, he was seen circling these same roads before heading home an hour later. But this time, there was a key difference. Eileen was no longer in the front seat. After reviewing the CCTV footage, officers called Sam back in for interrogation, this time confronting him with more direct questions.
The other day when we were in here, you told me that you got a phone call from her and you went to pick her up from work. So if you could do me a favor and just kind of go through that timeline again. We know that it was somewhere right around at 8:30. So if you can just kind of go through that timeline again as far as...
I'm not too sure on the time.
Okay.
But anyway, she texted me that morning, and I didn't text her back. I called her, and she wanted to know if I would come and get her, because some girl was supposed to pick her up, and she ran out of gas. So I went and picked her up, and she got in the truck. I left, and she wanted to talk to me about helping her get in the apartment. She wanted to stop at her mom's house. I stopped at her mom's house, and she was in there for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. She come out of there, got back in, and then we was going back down Broadway, just talking some more. And she promised me, she wanted me to drop her back off at his house, but she made me to promise I wouldn't do nothing to him, and I told her I promise. As a matter of fact, when we get there, you just get out, you walk in front of the truck, I'll go turn around and I'll leave. And she says, okay.
Okay, so you went up there, you dropped her off, then what'd you do?
And as soon as I pulled up, and she didn't want me to go in the driveway in case he was there.
Okay.
And she got out of the truck. When she got out of the truck, she walked in front of the truck, and that's when I went straight, turned around, and came back.
Okay.
Sam stuck to his story, insisting that he dropped Eileen off at Mike's house, but this time officers had solid evidence. They confronted him with the CCTV footage that told a completely different story.
So you said after you dropped her off, out there off of Highway 191 at that residence, you headed back to your apartment. We checked some of our cameras, okay, and we have a camera at 36th and Broadway, and we have your truck going westbound at 9:28 a.m. going to Omaha. Okay, when you pass 36th and Broadway heading west. So you didn't go home, you went over to Omaha, it looks like. Do you remember what you did or who you saw?
I don't remember going to Omaha.
Where'd you go?
I told you I went straight home. I don't remember going to Omaha.
Well, the camera doesn't lie. It's your truck and it's your license plate number.
Right.
Okay, 1 hour later.
No, we're going to Omaha.
Where'd you go?
I went straight home.
Despite the officers' compelling evidence, Sam refused to change his story. With no concrete proof of Eileen's whereabouts, they had to let him go. But just days later, Sam got into trouble again. One night, he messaged his granddaughter, Emily, saying that he planned to harm himself to reunite him with his deceased grandmother. Shocked by this, Emily called 911, and shortly after, an officer soon found a drunk Sam outside of a bar.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good.
Is this your vehicle?
Yes.
Hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Do you have any weapons or anything on here?
No.
Hey, we were called to check your welfare. Okay, I think you talked to your granddaughter earlier, and she was concerned about you, some of the statements that you made to her. I'm here for you, man. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
My girlfriend, it was like a week ago, me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and apparently he raped her.
What's his name?
The only thing I know, he goes by Mike. Me and her broke up. She didn't have a place to go. She moved in with him. She told me Friday he tried to mess with her. So I called my son and see if he can move back in because he kicked us out. So I called my son and see if he can move back in with her. And then I went to his house, got her stuff, took her to my son's. And then the next morning we went to work and then she went right back to him. So
Sam's mental state was clearly deteriorating after the past week's event. Whether due to his own actions or something else, the pressure was weighing on him. And that is when the officer stepped in with some advice.
I would like for you to talk to somebody tonight. I would like for you to talk to a medical professional. Okay, I don't want to have to drag you up to the hospital, but I most certainly will. I think based off of what the granddaughter has told us tonight and kind of the...
Oh, she call you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
She was crying when we went and talked to her. I mean, she's...
Oh, really?
Extremely, yes. She was very emotional.
Her best friend and aunt are currently at the apartment because of what you said.
Wow.
Based off of what they've told me tonight, I'm going to give you one of two options. You can go up willingly and talk to a medical professional tonight.
Okay.
Or I can take you up there and you'll stay there for 72 hours. Okay?
I can't have my granddaughter come get me?
No.
Shortly after, the officer took Sam to a psychiatric ward where he had to spend 48 hours under medical professionals and get some therapy. Meanwhile, officers interviewed Eileen's daughter, Nicole Shipper, to learn more about her mother's relationship with Sam.
I just want to get as much history as you can tell me or talk to me about when it comes to your mom. What was their relationship like over there?
Not a healthy one.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
He didn't like her drinking. He thought he could change her get her to stop drinking. I told him that he can't because she won't change for her kids. She's not going to change for a man. And he seemed to think that he could change her, so he kept trying with her. But there was things on his part and her part that were not healthy. They both had jealousy issues. He has a very short temper. And littlest things will set him off, and it's like ridiculous. When they were good, they were good.
Nicole revealed that Sam and her mother had a troubled relationship, often filled with arguments. She even claimed that some of their confrontations had escalated into physical altercations.
The week prior to last Monday, what was going on?
They're separated. She called me before she went missing and telling me how she don't want to get back with him because she's tired of him throwing her out for little reasons. And she's sick of not being able to have a stable home because he just gets so mad at the smallest things and just kicks her out.
After being released from the psychiatric ward, Sam went to Walmart to buy alcohol. As he left, an off-duty officer approached him with questions about Eileen. But instead of cooperating, Sam did the unthinkable. He jumped into his car and sped off, triggering a high-speed chase.
Turning westbound on C. He's eastbound on A from 28. If that deputy's in the white Tahoe, he can light it up. He's approaching him. If that deputy's in the white Tahoe, he can light it up. He's approaching him.
The chase went on for several minutes, with Sam recklessly hitting speeds of 100 miles per hour through crowded streets. With public safety at risk, officers had no choice but to call it off and let him go for now.
Shut it down.
I'm shutting it down.
Now wanted for fleeing and eluding, officers searched for Sam but found no trace of him. Surprisingly, the next morning, he walked into the police station and turned himself in. However, he was then released the same day after his granddaughter Emily posted his bond. Shortly after his release, Sam did something suspicious that put him back in the spotlight. He drove his truck to a scrapyard and requested it to be completely shredded. He even stayed for over an hour, watching the entire process to ensure that it was destroyed. By this point, Sam was the key suspect, but everything took a decisive turn when a chilling 911 call came in, one that would finally expose the truth.
911, what's the address for your emergency?
I don't really have an address. We're off the exit of Crete, Iowa, over by a public shooting area.
What's going on?
So we were driving down the road to go shooting or whatever, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Male or female?
It's female for sure.
And just like that, the officers had found Eileen's dead body. As they went over to search the area, they couldn't identify the body, but the clothes matched with what Eileen had on last time. She was taken to the hospital for an autopsy, and with this crucial evidence, officers made one final move straight to Sam's apartment.
Morning. We're looking for your grandfather. Is he here? Okay, just 1 second. Just go. Sam, right? He goes by Sam. Okay. Is there anybody else in there?
No, just him. He's sleeping.
Okay. Has he got any guns or anything like that? Okay. Well, he's got a warrant, so we need to talk to him. Just let that officer in. I'll be right there.
The autopsy report had revealed that poor Eileen had suffered 8 blunt force impacts to her head and a fractured tooth, but this did not cause her death. In fact, she was strangled by a zip tie.
Ivan! Step out here. Show us your hand. No.
No.
Hey.
Okay.
What?
Come here. You got a warrant for your arrest. I'll let you smoke that if you just no. Oh, you can smoke it. All right. All right.
Get my shoes?
Yeah, we'll get them.
You're in
Yeah. We'll get them.
I'll put them on the wrist for.
Huh?
Put them on the wrist for.
I'll explain it here in a minute. All right.
Stuff that I can use of corpse.
What the fuck? Dude.
Okay, he'll be Pot County. He'll be able to call you in a little bit. Thank you.
While that was shocking enough, the next case shows how a killer was finally arrested years later for the murder of his own wife.
You drink 3 bottles of
This man just confessed to murdering his girlfriend, but he has no idea that his best friend is an undercover cop secretly recording everything. Make sure to stick around until the end. In 2019, 37-year-old Darren Osmond dialed 999 and confessed to the operator that he was handing himself in. What led from here will only leave you shocked and petrified.
Please.
It's not an emergency, I just wrote to your colleague. I've handed myself in.
Okay.
And I've tried to do it already today.
Handing yourself for what?
It's not a good look for me.
What do you mean it's not a good look for you?
It's not a good look for me. It's basically, it's something that was, it's murder, mate.
Pardon?
It's murder.
It's murder. So you've committed a murder.
I haven't personally, but I know. Sort of.
So you've committed a murder.
I haven't, but sort of.
Darren was drunk and had dialed the officers and confessed to a murder that he had committed in 2012. The murder of his girlfriend, Claire Holland, who had disappeared from a pub in Bristol in 2012. Holland was the mother of 4 children and also had a kid with Darren. There was no clue about her disappearance until this point, and this call would lead the cops to a wild hunt.
Well, what do you mean, sort of?
Well, I didn't do it.
Okay, so why are you handing yourself in if you didn't do it?
Because it was my f***ing ex.
What, it was your ex that committed the murder?
No. Look, I tried to hide myself into a police station early on.
Yeah.
And the place was it was banged up, it was shut, but they said the officers were on patrol. I knocked on the door. I tried. I've had enough of it all now. I just want the monkey off my back.
Right, so how are you linked to the murder if it wasn't you?
They said it was my ex.
What was your ex? You murdered your ex?
Sort of.
What's your ex called?
Oh, God. Claire Holland.
Claire Holland.
After Claire's disappearance in 2012, her family protested tirelessly, and officers pursued every lead but were unable to find anything. They even questioned Darren at that point, but he had an alibi throughout the timeline proving that he was innocent. However, things were about to get different this time, as the truth was about to be revealed.
Okay, and what happened to Claire?
Well, I don't know exactly. I wasn't there.
Okay, so what is it that you're needing to hand yourself in for?
I have tried. Don't tell me I haven't tried.
I'm trying too, but there's no... If you can't give me any details, then we have no reason to speak to you in connection to it.
I've had enough now. Look, I'm admitting to it.
All right, well, I'm...
Just put down that I did it.
Darren? Darren?
I just want to be safe.
Shortly after, a couple of officers were dispatched to his location, and Darren's demeanor did not change. One thing was obvious, he was pretty drunk, but despite this, the cops proceeded to arrest him.
Cool. Did he not tell you?
No, not massively.
Back...
Surprise me.
Surprise you? Back along 5, 6, 7 years ago, I don't even know when it was now.
Yeah.
My missus had my son taken off of us.
Right.
For social services.
Yeah.
So I did the wrong thing really, but I'm admitting to it now.
What's her name?
Claire Holland.
Claire Holland. Okay, and do you know her date of birth?
No.
No. And when was that roughly?
About 7 years ago, but
7 years ago. Where was it?
in Bristol.
In Bristol, okay.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I had it arranged.
Now you might wonder why he finally succumbed to his guilt and owned up to his crime. Well, this wasn't the case at all. He was just under the influence of alcohol.
What's your first name? Daniel, is it?
Darren.
Darren
Osmond.
Darren, just relax a minute, mate.
I've just had it up to my eyeballs, bro. I've had enough of ducking and diving and looking over my shoulder and all the rest of it. I've had enough. I just want to get it. Whatever's done's done. It's all in it. Whatever's done's done, and I can't turn back the clock. Just want to get it dealt with, innit?
You haven't told us anything.
You told us
you said something over the phone.
And something happened about 7 years ago, but you haven't said anything
But you haven't said what?
I had her killed.
Right, okay. How?
I gave some money to someone and they had it done.
Okay.
But I can't say any name, obviously no names or numbers or anything like that.
The time is 04:26. I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. Okay, you don't have to say anything that may harm you to make not mention when questioned. Something to you later on in court, and if you do say may be good evidence.
Darren was taken to the police station and put in custody. However, later he denied any links to the murder, claiming that he was just drunk earlier. As the officers had no evidence against him, he was released, but the cops began investigating the case. That is when an undercover agent, Patty O'Hara, was sent to Darren's neighborhood. Somehow, both of them started talking, and Patty linked him to some working opportunities. Over time, they grew closer, often going on walks and having dinners together. One evening, while chatting about an Irish murder, Patty claimed that he had been involved in it. This prompted Darren to confess his crime, unaware that he was being secretly recorded.
I got back from work and there was 3 empty bottles of wine in the kitchen, and I went upstairs. Obviously, she woke up whilst I came in, trying to make out she was doing something. So she picked up and was starting to try and come down the stairs towards me. Where the with the baby? And she, I'm making him his milk. So I said, you don't need to take him down the stairs to do that. Oh no, you can't take my... listen to me now, right? Mate, I was just, it was just like, I don't know, mate, it's fucking horrible to say, but it was like rugby. And if someone's got the ball and they're doing that, I just get my arm and I go in between here. You know, and it was the same thing, I just went like that. Was that, no chance, right, that's mine, right, same rugby, disappear, get out of my face, and she wouldn't, so I just at the room, shut the door, I told her to off, go make the milk and bring it back up there.
Darren had just confessed on camera, but shockingly, this wasn't his first or even second confession. Over the years, he had admitted to the murder at least 5 times in different situations. This time, however, the consequences were about to escalate.
And she said downstairs, whatever happens. Who drinks 3 bottles of wine?
Mate, I've done what I've done, and I've done what I did. I did what I did, done what I've done, whatever, innit? But you know, it's not something I bang on about. But even here, I'd be like that before I even speak a word. I mean, I sort of pretty much assumed that you sort of knew.
So I knew that the geezer who ran the pub was going out to meet his missus that night. And then obviously I've got fucking aprons and bits and pieces to wear to do them sorts of jobs. It's all done, it was done and dusted. All the fucking clothes burnt outside, fucking everything's gone.
Patty had managed to get another confession out of Darren, but it was still unclear as to why he would commit the murder and where did he dispose of the body. It turned out that Darren blamed Claire for their child being placed in foster care instead of with family, as both parents were severe alcoholics. He saw her as the reason that he had been separated from his son since birth.
You know, it is what it is. It's done, it's done. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to forget about it now. I mean, if there was anything that, for instance, you wanted to know, or questions you specifically want to ask me, then ask me and I can answer. But I don't think that, you know, for me to go through, you know, blah, that, then there's no device or power, you know what I mean?
In a recorded conversation inside a van, Patty told Darren they needed to travel across the country to pick up some. During the ride, Patty brought up the murder, prompting Darren to confess once again.
I don't know. To be honest, I've got a funny feeling it was one of those nights when the Olympics were on. Remember we had the Olympics? London? Check me here on your phone of that. And I'm sure the night the Olympics were on. No, I put that in someone else's notebox a long time. Yeah, man. Just trying to in. Honestly, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think, and it, you know, I'll get any words from it. I don't want to tell you. It's not that I don't want to talk to it, I just don't want to. I just want to get her.
Days before Claire's murder, social services placed Darren's son with Claire's aunt instead of him. This decision deeply angered Darren and ultimately led to the tragic of Claire Holland.
It's not that, so it's not like it's not telling, I just wanted to forget about it. Because you know more than anybody knows, I know. You know, but I need to make sure I don't, because, you know what I mean, put it this way, like yours. The time it happened, there was a massive load of blood. And people will come rushing down like everybody really knows that fucking and I think it was fucking.
Darren had no clue that he was being recorded throughout. He later confessed that he had an argument with Claire and ended up strangling her to death. He then chopped up her body and threw her remains in the water. Strangely, during the initial investigation, his alibi cleared him, and he was declared not guilty at the time.
I don't know. It shouldn't. I don't know. Whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I was at work. Finished work, I went home. I've got alibi all the way. I don't know, unless they fucking miracle, I don't understand how there's going to ever be, they shouldn't ever have questions.
This confession became the final nail in the coffin for Darren. Shortly after, the police arrested him again, hoping his recorded admissions would be enough to charge him. They then reopened the investigation, starting at the pub where Claire was last seen.
This morning we rearrested a man on suspicion of the murder of Claire Holland 10 years ago, and now we're beginning specialist searching of the pub behind me. That searching we anticipate is going to last a few days.
So your press release referred to new information that sparked the search. Could you give us any indication of what that might be, what that information might be?
Yeah, so it is specific intelligence. I don't know that detail myself, but as you've seen, we've got forensic officers and specialist search officers that have begun arriving this afternoon, and it's difficult to tell exactly how long the search is going to take, but I think probably certainly today, tomorrow, maybe to the end of the week.
You said rearrest. This is the same man that was arrested in 2019.
Yeah, this is a person that we've already interviewed in connection with Claire's disappearance. That's back in custody again this morning.
In 2022, Darren was finally brought to trial for the murder of Claire Holland. Throughout the proceedings, he and his defense claimed his confessions were the ramblings of a drunken fool. Despite his arguments, after weeks of testimony, the judge delivered the final verdict.
I am to sentence you today for the murder of Claire Holland. For this grave offence, there is only one sentence prescribed by law, and that is imprisonment for life. That is the sentence that I shall impose upon you in due course. However, I'm required to determine the minimum period you should serve in prison before you are eligible to be considered for release on parole. It's most important that you and everyone concerned with this case should understand what in fact this means. The minimum term is not a fixed term after which you will be automatically released, but the minimum time that you will spend in custody before your case can be considered by the parole board, and it will be for the parole board to say at that time whether or not you will be released.
Before announcing the sentence, the judge took a moment to honor Claire's memory and reflect on the tragic circumstances surrounding her murder.
Claire Holland was aged 32 years at the time of her death in June 2012. It is clear from the deeply moving impact statements that I have heard and read that she was a warm and vivacious person who was deeply loved. She had experienced difficulty in her early life, but by 2012 was, in the words of her mother, starting a new chapter in her life. She had a new flat, had re-engaged with her family, and was engaged on a programme to stop drinking. She was rightly proud of herself and the efforts that she was making. She had high hopes that she would in time be able to have her children to live with her, children whose contact visits she never missed, no matter how difficult her life was at times.
The judge then turned to Darren, emphasizing that he would face the full consequences of his actions and would suffer the weight of justice for his crime.
You must face the consequences of your actions in the punishment that I impose upon you today. I recognize that such punishment cannot bring her back, and those who love and cherish her must live forever with her loss. For 11 long years, no one except you knew what had happened to Claire. She went missing on the night of the 6th of June 2012, never contacting her family or her children again. There was an extensive police missing persons investigation which failed to find her. You were spoken to in the course of that investigation. You could and should have told the police what had happened. You could and should have admitted that you killed Claire. You did not. You left her family with the agony of not knowing where she was or what had happened. I accept the prosecution case, but you were haunted by it, and seeking to relieve the burden of what you did, you have made confessions over the years to 6 people in all.
During the trial, it was revealed that Darren had a history of violence, including verbal altercations with his mother and regularly abusing Claire after drinking. This evidence further solidified his involvement in her murder.
You were both drinking. But rather than care for and help Claire look after him, rather than addressing your own issues with alcohol and helping her to address hers, you were critical of and violent to her. I find you threw Claire down the stairs shortly after your son's birth. She was to tell social workers she was frightened of you. I accept her account given to them that you had strangled her in the past and that she feared you may kill her. This fits not just with your attitude to Claire, but with the evidence of your character that I heard during the trial. You are, in the words of your mother who gave evidence, a vile drunk. She was vulnerable. It was late at night and she had been drinking. When you confessed to others, Claire, you said to some that you strangled her, and to others that you paid for someone else to kill her. I am sure that you killed her yourself.
Despite overwhelming evidence, Darren continued to deny responsibility for the murder and refused to reveal where he had hidden Claire's body. Finally, the judge announced the sentence, bringing closure to a case that had remained a mystery for over a decade.
I urge you for once to stand up to what you have done in the very near future, and to disclose what you did and where her body might be found, so that she may be laid to rest. Taking into account all the aggravating and mitigating factors as exist, in my judgment, the minimum term I impose is one of 20 years imprisonment. Stand up. Darren Osmond, for the murder of Claire Holland, I sentence you to life imprisonment. You will serve a minimum term of 20 years, less the 503 days you have served on remand. Thereafter, it will be for the parole board to decide when, if ever, you should be released. If you are ever released, you will remain on license for the rest of your life.
Darren was sentenced to 20 years in prison, given his continued denial of the murder and refusal to disclose the location of Claire's body. it is highly unlikely that he will be released anytime soon. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we witness a masterfully solved murder case thanks to the diligent work of the police and an undercover agent who earned Darren's trust before exposing his crime. Thankfully, the judge delivered justice, ensuring that this criminal is held accountable for his actions. If you agree, please support us by liking this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, watch these moments where corrupt cops were caught on camera doing the unthinkable.
Oh, gosh! You shot me!